A year of playability and content for Star Citizen. That was the expectation set at the start of this year by the man himself, Chris Roberts. Well, we're a bit halfway past the mark right now, and are we there yet? Well, on the content side of things, CIG has definitely been making a really great effort to get new and exciting things for us to do. The addition of the ASD complex for the Stormbreaker activity, they're calling it, has really been a great show of how, when things come together, Star Citizen can actually have some semblance of a fun game to play. Not to mention how damn good the storm looks with the new rain effects. But Star Citizen has never not looked good. I mean, it's been accused of being, accurately so, a screenshot simulator, and still is. And this certainly isn't the only thing they've been working on. They've got this whole new event that they're working on right now that's about to come out, where you can side with one of 4 corporate factions to get some fancy gear. I think it's safe to say then that they have been delivering on the content side of things that they talked about at the start of 2025. On playability though, that's something that's a little bit harder to give you an answer on, as depending on who you ask and how you define it, you're going to get some different answers. On one side, it's indisputable to say that Star Citizen has fewer bugs. CIG has been doing an incredible job of frequently putting out patches and hotfixes this year. 2025 has easily been one of the most patch-heavy years in the game's long development history, with multiple coming out each and every month. And each one of them lists tens or hundreds of fixed bugs. Some of them, of course, are repeats of old ones or ones popping up again, but it's almost certain that it's been a net positive reduction in bugs overall. If you were looking for a quantitative answer then, an answer backed by numbers, in other words, the game has fewer bugs. Thus, it trends towards being more playable if we agree that the definition of playability is a game with fewer issues getting in the way of you enjoying what you want to do. That's at least how Chris Roberts and I think a lot of people at CIG seem to see it based on his letter from the chairman. That's a long-winded way of saying then yes, it's more playable than it was before. And that's definitely something worth lauding CIG for. They're making an effort and they're clearly taking ground. And this could be the end of the video, the end of the answer you might have been looking for. But I think that only gives you one side of the picture, and personally I think that playability is something that needs to be something that includes the qualitative as much as the quantitative. In other words, how something feels should matter just as much, if not more, than the facts. Let me put it another way. If you're running a 20k race and you've made it 2k at a good running pace, you can definitely say that you've made progress. You can say that you're already above average of the general population. Running 2k does require some base level of healthiness after all. It would be wrong then to say that you're out of shape if you just stop here. However, you couldn't say you've finished the race yet. Giving some context here, after the whole thing with Blades and the constant in-game issues, I decided to take a long break with the release of Dune Awakening. I've been enjoying the heck out of that game. Every time I log in, I make some kind of progress, either building a new portion of my base, or doing other series of quests, or building my next weapon or armor, or running into the deep desert with my community and making some spice. I walk away from each session, even after PvP losses, feeling like I've accomplished something. And the whole thing has reminded me what it feels like to play a finished game. I recently then decided to pop back into Star Citizen to give it a fresh look after nearly a month of not playing it, with the express thought in my mind that I wanted to really see it from an outsider's perspective, from an outside gamer's perspective, to see if it's actually more playable in the context of this wider gaming audience and what they probably will expect. As I don't want to bore you to death, let me just summarize my experience quickly. In the span of more than 4 hours, I was ejected from Quantum, unable to jump to Pyro, repeatedly being thrown back into the Stanton system, couldn't refuel at a space station, couldn't route to my ship that I lost because of some bug with it just going off into space at hypervelocity. I couldn't route to any Quantum location because of a bug with my ship fuel. I lost gear trying to loot stuff, which included losing one of the key items I needed for the loop I was trying to do. Items weren't spawning at some of the locations that were needed for the loop. I fell through the planet after getting halfway through it, and then I'm at 4 hours with having accomplished almost nothing, all in the end due to bugs. Later, I tried to make another attempt by going to the second part of the loop, only to fall through the planet yet again. And I made it back again. I kept trying, I guess you might call me insane, and I started encountering desync with my inventory, issues with reloading, and eventually my weapon just fell out of my hands in the middle of combat and I couldn't pick it up again. At that point, I decided to just log off and call it a night. Meanwhile, if you do something else like contested zones, they remain unplayable due to box glitching issues and inventory issues, just making them all pointless and frustrating. So what do you think my answer to this question of feelings is going to be? It's not in a playable state. All right, you probably have already gotten this already, probably from the beginning of the video, especially if you've been playing Star Citizen at all recently. It's just not consistently playable. You may have heard differently though from other people, and so you might feel like, why are different people saying different things? And this is the danger of anecdotal evidence. Some people, for example, enjoy playing the game just for the flight side of things, tracking down NPC bounties in space and blowing them up. They don't get tired of it, it's something that they really enjoy doing, and personally, I can relate to this because I've done a lot of this in the past too. But if you ask someone who only plays that part of the game, they're just gonna tell you the game feels better. They're not gonna tell you everything that they've done, so you're going to take what they're saying as a general statement about the whole game's experience being generally better, when they're only talking about a specific part of the game that they're playing. Now you could say, well, because you're playing a specifically buggy part of the game, then your perception is that the game's more buggy, but here's the thing. Playability then should be a state that should include not one, but all of the loops that are in the game. Otherwise, new and returning players are just going to feel frustrated and lied to when someone says something and then they experience something different, because you don't know what a player is going to try to play when they go in. Everybody's different, everybody looks for different things to do. And that's why when I played Star Citizen recently, I thought that playing Stormbreaker would be a good way to do some testing, because it touches on a bit of everything in the game. Think about it, you need to exit the main city, navigate on a ship, land on a planet, engage with first-person PvE combat and PvP combat, engage with the inventory system for looting and moving things onto your ship's cargo grid, engage with respawning and medical gameplay. You get the idea. This loop has a lot of things going for it, and that's a really good thing for it. It's something I talked about in the last video, talking about the features of 4.2 and how they're tying new and old features together in one big activity to really showcase what Star Citizen can do. And that's why there's such good test beds for the state of the game. The point of this video then isn't to bring you down about Star Citizen or to bring the game down itself. I actually haven't made a video recently because of this exact problem. I want to make fun videos, not videos about the state of the game being kind of sad. As someone who cares about the game though, this is something that I feel is worth talking about. It's something worth making a video about, because I want you, as someone who's potentially on the fence about getting into Star Citizen right now, to understand what you're getting yourself into. 2025 may have been talked about as the year of focus on playability, but that doesn't mean that they've achieved it yet or that they're anywhere near the finish line. Yeah, they're definitely trying and they're making progress, but if you're planning on playing Star Citizen right now, just keep in mind that you probably need to set aside a good block of time if you hope to achieve anything. It's not going to be a game where you can pop in for 1 to 2 hours and think you're going to get something done without feeling frustrated. What's there though can be fun, and I'm still excited for what's coming next, but you just need to take that into consideration. I'm sure they're gonna cross a threshold at some point where the game feels more playable than not, but for now, Star Citizen just isn't there yet for a general gaming audience. And that's really what I hope that you get from a video like this. Nothing's stopping you from playing the game in this kind of state. You can definitely still enjoy portions of it like I've already shown, but you just gotta be ready for the fact that this game is still, after so many years, in a very alpha-like state. And it can, and most often will leave you feeling quite frustrated by the time you log off. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, let me know by hitting that like and subscribe button, and let me know down in the comments section what your experience has been recently with Star Citizen. What's some specific issue that you hope that they tackle to make the game more playable for you, and how have you been defining playability as you've gone into 2025? I hope by the end of the year they do achieve their playability year, but right now, they're not there yet. They're about the 2K mark. Let's see if they can get 20K. Hope to see you in the next one.